welcome to episode 2 of the Crusader. I'm here with music and theater teacher extraordinaire, who's just awarded with the Art Institute of Mississippi, one of the educators of the year, Olivia Drinkwater.
Hi, everybody.
So tell me, how does it feel to be in quarantine?
Well, it is the strangest thing that I've ever experienced, without a doubt. And I've really missed my students. I miss daily life and getting to do my job with my colleagues and just simple things that you take for granted all of the other normal times of the year and of your whole life, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I asked that question. I think everybody feels that way. Now, tell me a little bit about this award that you got. This is a Art Institute of Mississippi at University of Southern Mississippi, right? Mississippi's in there twice. And it was educator of one of the educators of the year.
Yes, I was really completely honored and surprised to be acknowledged by the AIM Award Committee, and they select 8 arts educators from throughout the state of Mississippi, and just say great job for your accomplishments in art or theater and music. And it's just such an honor, and I'm so proud and happy to have been acknowledged.
Well, now the award is nice, but that comes from years of work and dedication. Now you started the choir program at the high school. Is that correct?
Yes. So I was first hired to teach at Sacred Heart when we reopened the doors of the high school all those years ago. And I was actually hired to teach theater. And we did several productions. I taught piano lessons at the school as well, and assisted the wonderful Martha Ann Curry, who was then the music teacher for the elementary school, a fabulous music educator that we had for so long. And eventually I took over the role of elementary music teacher as well. I started a choral music program later on at the high school. I believe the first 2 classes of theater and choir that I taught at Sacred Heart had 5 kids in them. So it really started from very humble beginnings, and we're so proud of what it's grown to now. It's amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing. The main thing, what I think of when I think of your contribution to the school is center stage, because you guys when I walk my drummers from elementary to the high school. Could you talk a little bit about what center stage is and how it got started?
Sure. 5 years ago, a dear friend of mine, Abigail Allen, and I were talking about our memories of growing up and how much we loved being a part of a theater family. And that I know for myself as a girl, that was my happiest place to be. It was the place I felt the most welcomed and the most comfortable. I was in my first show when I was 7 years old, and I never left the stage after that. So we thought, why don't we start a program like that here at the school? Abby's daughter was in the same class as my son David. And so Center Stage began. It was an after-school program, and we started with 30 students, and we did 1 show. And 5 years later, we have, if you count elementary school, we work with children grades 1st through 6th at the elementary. And then we now have a high school program too, junior high through high school. We have about 100 students in that program, and they produce multiple shows a year. This is our 5th year. We were so proud to present School of Rock to the Hattiesburg community, and it was a smashing success due to the hard work and talent of our students. But it has really grown and exploded and just become exactly what we wanted it to be, which was a happy place that kids could get together with their friends and make something and make musical theater together.
Yeah, that's I got to play drums in School of Rock, and I gotta say that was one of the more fun shows I've ever played. Just because the actual it was the material, but it's also just seeing, man, you don't see kids who are seventh, eighth. I mean, and you had like Will Evans, who's a senior playing guitar in the
It's
band
amazing.
and in the cast as well. Like you don't see somebody that engaged very often. I mean, at any age, honestly, I don't see a ton of humans functioning at that capacity on a day-to-day basis. And when you see those kids, like all of a sudden, like, man, we got to put a show on. Let's go. You know, you had kids running the lights. You had stage manager. You had everything was run by kids, and it was really cool to see you and Abby work as kind of like the shepherds for them. So, and that's not typical of, I mean, anywhere. I think only downtown Hattiesburg could pull that off. So
Yeah, it was a really special experience. And I feel that way with every production that we've ever done. What makes Center Stage unique is we really try to express to the students the idea that there's a place for everyone in a theater environment. You don't have to be on stage to be a part of the family. And so the kids are involved in all of the creative processes. They work the lights, they help with the stage management, and they work really hard at preparing for these shows. It's not always a happy, easygoing situation. I mean, these kids go through a lot. They invest and devote their time and energy and talent. But at the end, we tell them all the way through the process that, listen, we know this is difficult. We know you're tired of working, but the moment that you have at the end is going to make all of this worth it. You're going to understand what we've been after. And to see them have that moment is worth all of the time and energy, and it just is worth everything to me. It is truly what getting to watch my students perform, I think, is the greatest joy of my professional life. It brings me so much more happiness than performing as for myself, way more happiness than that ever brought me. I love to see the look on a kid's face when they realize that they just did something amazing. It's unbeatable, really unbeatable.
Yeah, amen to that. Amen to that. Well, and
Choked up just talking about it.
well, don't do that. The thing is with I feel the same way with students. But I'm going to take it in a selfish direction where, and I would assume every teacher feels this way. Like, man, I helped make that happen. You know, it is a selfless act to like really helping somebody figure out how to do something that you have already learned how to do. But then when you see them, you know, it's that light bulb moment, man, yeah, you're right. And to see it in the context of a show where if you were teaching like maybe a required class, you wouldn't, I mean, I never did a math show, you know? So, so yeah, no, I wouldn't have been asked. I know I wouldn't have.
Me neither.
But well, there you go. But you know what I mean? You get to actually see that. And I think that's one of the toughest things about this situation we find ourselves in is that you don't get that kind of closure you get from a show, you know? And you can't actually show that people, I think with the arts, it's so hard to quantify like how hard people work at it because it's a frivolous thing to most people. But it like anything, it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, And then a show is actually it's this little snapshot of like, hey, this was like how long did y'all prepare School of Rock?
Oh, we worked that show probably, you know, 5 months, twice a week. In the 2 weeks leading up to, we probably spent a good 30 hours in that space just working, and the kids right alongside us working. I mean, it was, in the end, it was really exhausting, but energizing at the same time. It's it's such a strange emotion that you are exhausted and you've worked so hard, but you're not done yet, and you have to keep coming back. But once you get in there and the kids put those costumes on and they turn the lights on and we get an audience, all of that other stuff fades away, and you really just get this tremendous boost in the spirit of the crowd there watching. It was amazing. We our performances were at the Thirsty Hippo in Hattiesburg, which I am really missing right about now during this quarantine. And
Same.
the amazing people at the Hippo. But those kids sold out that place every show. I mean, it was unbelievable, the vibe in that room, created by some junior high kids and a high school guitar player. I mean, and some of the best musicians in the city of Hattiesburg. Let's not, forget about that part. We had an amazing band, but it was a fantastic experience. It really unforgettable. It was great. But,
Well,
I feel that way about my classes that I teach at Sacred Heart too. I'm really sad that my choral music students are not going to get to have their spring concert. My theater kids that have been working on a funny comedic play called the Brothers Grimm Spectaculathon will not get to perform, because in those situations, some of these kids have never set foot on a stage. They're doing this as an elective, and to see how far they come over the course of a year together is really inspiring as well in its own right. So for me, I think the hardest part about being a choral teacher or a theater teacher and not getting to be out there in the trenches with my students, I really just miss them. They bring so much joy to my life on a day-to-day basis, and to be a month away, a month out, not getting to see them, and then to know that that's it. I'll see them hopefully soon, but not on a stage together the way we've been planning. That's really hard. And I miss all my kids. I have great students in center stage, choir, theater. So this award was so sweet and just such an honor, because I was already missing being in that place with all of my kids. So this really just reminded me of how much I miss them.
well, I mean, you share that. I'm sure every teacher at school also shares the same sentiment. And you know, you, what about a Zoom concert?
Hey, I'm working on just being able to Zoom in general. I'm sorry to say that technology is not my strong suit. I would love to have a Zoom concert. Maybe one of my kids could teach me how to do it, because I'm the worst. But I'm trying. I am trying.
Well, I'm trying to figure out. I know that they've developed the acapella software to fix like the timing issues you have, like the delay, the lag, as the kids like to say.
Yeah, that's what's really tough to deal with.
But that would be cool. Or I would say maybe the concert won't be in the spring, but you still got to have it, right? Have it in the fall.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out some way to get those kids up there and let them do a segment or something from what they've worked on, because it was going to be a really great show. All of the shows were going to be really great. Our younger students had been working diligently on the Lion King kids from center stage, and also the Little Mermaid Junior. So lots of really hardworking, super talented kids that this would be performance month for all of us. And um, but that's everybody, right? Across the board, arts people in all parts of the world are dealing with postponed and canceled performances. It's a really strange time. And we, of course, are thankful for the medical community that are helping to keep us safe. And it seems like a small sacrifice that we can't have these performances in light of the largeness of the coronavirus. But at the same time, those performances mean a lot to a lot of us, and they make life a happier place to be. And so it's hard to accept that they can't go on, that the show can't go on. Isn't that a saying? The show must go on. And when it can't, it's really hard to
Well,
deal with.
it's just a brief pause, and
Yeah.
I'm sure your students who are working hard on it feel the same way. But I think that's a testament to, you're clearly emotional about this. That's what it takes to be an award-winning educator. I mean, I'm serious, and I think it's great that you were notified or recognized, and because you and Abby and Allison and Mr. Michael and Rebecca, I mean, it takes a village to get those kids going. I mean, Center State Elementary and high school, it takes a village to get them going. So I think it's really cool that I like it when the good guys get a win, you know?
Well, it was certainly just really, as I said, such an honor and a surprise to get acknowledged for my work at Sacred Heart over the past, I think they said 22 years. I've been teaching for 22 years now, which is amazing to me. But it was really special to be acknowledged for that, because really it has been the happiest journey to, it's been a privilege for me to be a part of Sacred Heart School and church and the Hattiesburg community. The city of Hattiesburg is a great place for people who love art. It's a fantastic place to be.
And Sacred Heart is a fantastic place to be. Downtown Hattiesburg, I like to think of it as the hip downtown art school. However you want to think about it, that's your thing. But I mean, obviously I'm biased, but this school has turned out to be like when I was younger, when I was at Sacred Heart, we didn't have the high school yet. I mean, it was like, man, if I was told if I was pitched what Sacred Heart is now, when I was, in 7th and 8th grade, I'd be like, oh my gosh, that sounds perfect. I'm not just saying that, like, that really, I mean, for me, it's soccer and drums. Like, I'm sold. I'm pretty simple. But, you're part of that too, where people, Miss Curry put on productions for so many years. I was a part of some of those. And, I enjoyed that stuff too. Just having an outlet that was not sports related was like, I mean, that was really helpful when you're growing up. So,
yeah, Sacred Heart, they have always 100% supported the growth of arts programs there, and just will defend and encourage and honor whatever it is that you're trying to do, because it matters to them. They support art and theater and music, and it's a wonderful place to teach. I always tell people before we have a performance that I feel like the luckiest girl in the world to teach there, because it is you feel like it's important to the community as a whole. To no matter what my colleagues are teaching, they acknowledge and appreciate and respect the things that we're doing, and that's really special. It's very special.
you're absolutely right. And on that note, I have to say thank you for speaking with me. Thank you for taking the time out of your quarantine and figuring out how to do a Zoom concert. And have a good rest of your day. And faith, respect, and honor.
Hey, go Saders. Thank you.